Jack Dempsey is a legendary figure in boxing history, but what do we know about his life beyond the ring? From his family and kids to his upbringing and incredible net worth, we're diving into the personal story of this iconic champion. Stay tuned as we explore the life of Jack Dempsey, revealing the man behind the myth and the journey that made him a boxing legend. Jack Dempsey was an American professional boxer who competed from 1914 to 1927, and reigned as the world heavyweight champion from 1919 to 1926. Born June 24, 1895, Manassas, Colorado, United States. Died May 31, 1983, age 87 years, New York, United States. Martial art, boxing. Weight 85 kilograms. Spouse, Deanna Piatelli, M. 1958 to 1983, see more. Division, heavyweight. Height, 1.85 meters. Jack Dempsey net worth $4.38 million. Early life and career. Early life and family background. Born in Manassas, Colorado, in 1895, he grew up in Colorado and West Virginia. The son of Mary Celia, who was Jewish, née Smoot, and Hiram Dempsey was of half Scottish and half Irish ancestry and also claimed to be partially Cherokee. His grandfather William A. Dempsey, of Logan County, West Virginia, identified his son John Dempsey Jr. of Mud Fork of Island Creek as executor of his last will and testament dated May 1, 1875. Upon payment of his debts and funeral expenses, he directed that his wife Mahulda receive the balance of his personal property while his 6 children receive an equal share of his real estate. His last will and testament, as witnessed by Estella, John, and Hiram Dempsey, was presented to the Logan County Clerk on August 10, 1875. Hiram and Celia Dempsey, parents to Jack, left West Virginia in 1887. One newspaper referred to them as active workers for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Dempsey was baptized into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in 1903 following his 8th birthday, the age of accountability, according to church doctrine. Hiram Dempsey and his family returned to Logan County when Jack was a small boy, where he was raised until shortly before commencement of his boxing career. Said the Logan Banner, while he was a mere child they returned to Logan County. Jack remained here until a young man, having been employed by the Gay Coal and Coke Company as late as 1913, and then went west alone to seek pugilistic fortune. He met Jack Kearns on the Pacific coast, from which point his spectacular climb to the pinnacle of the heavyweight division furnished the sport with one of its most romantic episodes. In January 1924, the Banner reported on Dempsey's trip from New York to Florida, stating that he used to call Logan home. In August 1926, the Banner reported how local boxer Bearcat Clemens sparred 2 rounds per day with Dempsey at Saratoga Lake, New York, remarking, "When Dempsey and Clemens face each other in the squared circle, it is Logan County versus Logan County." The Banner, in a small September 1926 item, provided more history about Dempsey's Logan County roots. The Dempsey family at one time lived on Mud Fork and another period near the Logan-Mingo line. Many relatives live in the 2 counties, and they, as well as his former friends, have taken pride in his prowess and successes. As a boy, Jack and O.D. Avis, sports editor of the Banner, used to set up pins in a bowling alley on the Main Street corner now occupied by the Logan Garage. In June 1927, former Logan County Sheriff Don Chafin traveled to New York to watch the Dempsey-Sharkey fight. The Logan Banner reported, "Mr. Chafin has attended every fight in which Dempsey has participated since he won the World's Championship in Toledo. They have been close friends since Dempsey was a boy and a familiar figure about Logan." Celia Dempsey, mother to Jack and at that time a resident of Utah, visited Huntington and Logan in September 1927. Said the Logan Banner, interviewed at Huntington, Mrs. Dempsey told of her desire to revisit girlhood scenes and inquired about old friends. She spoke of Uncle Dyke Garrett and was pleasantly surprised to learn that he is still living. Uncle Dyke read the interview and, despite the nearness of his 86th birthday, came back up from his home back of Chapmanville to welcome Mrs. Dempsey. This beloved old mountain minister never knew Jack Dempsey, but he remembers Jack's mother as a girl, her maiden name being Cecilia Smoot. She was a daughter of Charles Smoot, who came to Logan from Boone County, and who lived and died up on Island Creek. After his death, Mrs. Smoot, Jack Dempsey's grandmother, married Simpson Ellis, who died but a few years ago, after serving a long period on the county court. Scott Justice, who divides his time between Huntington and Logan, was among those who greeted Mrs. Dempsey at the Huntington Hotel yesterday. He remembers the marriage of Hiram Dempsey and Cecilia Smoot, and also recalls that the site on which the town of Holden now stands was sold by Hiram Dempsey to Mr. Justice's father when the family decided to migrate westward. According to Mr. Justice, the tract of 200 acres changed hands for a consideration of $600. Uncle Enoch Baker was another caller to greet the challenger's mother. Mr. Baker was engaged in business in Logan County when the Dempseys lived here, being well acquainted with the family. While in Logan, Mrs. Dempsey will visit her half-brothers, Don Ellis of Stratton Street, and Joseph and John B. Ellis of Island Creek, and others. Mrs. Dempsey spent 6 days in Logan, quartering at the Aracoma Hotel. Her departure yielded an additional story. By the time they reached Sharples, Mrs. Dempsey missed a hatbox containing a $3,500 watch, a gift from her famous son, and 2 valuable rings. They returned at once to Logan and after an anxious search found the missing box with contents undisturbed alongside the Washington apartments. Evidently it had fallen into the street and some passerby had placed it against the building, presumably without knowledge or curiosity as to the nature of its contents. While Mrs. Dempsey seemed to have enjoyed her visit in West Virginia and expressed a hope that she could come back next year for a longer stay, she said she wouldn't want to live back here again because of the difference in climate. However, the people are more sociable here, she added, and are much more friendly upon first acquaintance.